Thank you for joining us on Salt and Pepper Unleashed. This ain't your grandma's nursing home. I'm Director of Community Relations and Salt and Pepper podcast producer, Jenni Bartram. Today's episode comes with a twist. Our usual host, Executive Director Jordan Morrow, couldn't make it, so I have stepped in as a guest host. I like to think that I'm equally charming, possibly better looking, and definitely more organized. Just think of it like when you order a standard rental car and they give you a fancy upgrade. In all seriousness, Jordan is a hard act to follow, but we're going to give it a go. In this episode, we're highlighting the dedicated and energetic team that keeps our community moving, motivated, and thriving, our wellness staff. I'm pleased to be joined today by Margy Bartley, GVS Wellness Center Manager, and personal trainers Carolyn, Naumovich, I got it, and Mark Vanderveen. Margy is a national board-certified health and wellness coach and seasoned fitness professional with over 30 years of experience. She holds extensive certifications in group fitness, personal training, corrective and adapted exercise, and aging wellness, including specialties in arthritis, diabetes prevention, cancer recovery, and functional aging. With a strong background in inclusive and medically adaptive fitness, Margy is passionate about helping people of all abilities live healthier, more active lives. Carolyn has been dedicated to wellness for over 24 years, beginning her career as a group exercise instructor at a YMCA in Illinois. After moving to Indiana in 2000, she continued sharing her love for fitness through teaching and personal training. She holds certifications as an ACE group exercise instructor, Silver Sneakers instructor, Lakshmi Volker chair yoga instructor, and is also certified personal trainer. Carolyn finds joy in helping others reach their goals and live their healthiest, happiest lives. And after years as an avid gym goer and fitness enthusiast, Mark took the leap in 2022 and turned his passion into a profession. He is a NASM certified personal trainer, a certified nutrition specialist, and holds a specialization in corrective exercise, bringing both experience and expertise to every client he supports. From leading fitness classes to creating personalized workouts, this team helps residents stay strong, independent, and confident in their daily lives. But their impact goes beyond exercise. They build relationships, boost morale, and bring joy to every session. Whether it's balance training, strength building, or just a little encouragement to get moving, our wellness team is here to support whole person health, one resident at a time. Welcome, team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. We're just going to jump right in. Margy, I'm going to start with you. Can you tell us about your role on the wellness team and what a typical day might look like at GVS?
I see my role as the Wellness Center Manager to lead the team and kind of chart the course for everybody so that we can move forward, that we can reach out and make sure we're doing the best we can, offering the services that are most needed by our residents. A typical day involves starting out with, I always make sure everything's clean and safe and ready to go. I set up the group exercise area. We have a whiteboard. We write down what the classes are so people know. A lot of the residents like to arrive early and get their equipment, and they put their little stations together so they're set to go. And I also see my role as greeting, making sure as people come in that we make them feel welcome, that the equipment's operating correctly, that they know how to use it, that I can walk around and talk with people as they're using the equipment, establishing rapport and setting the tone so that people feel welcome and invited into the Wellness Center. And we've seen usage go up, so I think we're on the right course with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, establishing that rapport and making connections, building those relationships is so important and vital in what we all do within this community.
I think that's an underplayed and understood role that fitness people do. We have to establish rapport so people feel that they can trust you and get involved with you. And if you don't establish rapport, and make a welcoming environment that you don't really want to be in there. It's not just about the exercise, it's about the environment that they can walk into.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that so much. My motto, my personal motto is relationships before tasks. So that we connect, Margie. I love that. So it's clear that you've got your hands full and are involved in many aspects of resident life. Carolyn, building on that, what inspired you to get into senior wellness, and how do you feel it's different from other fitness roles that you've had?
Well, probably my aging parents and in-laws influenced me the most to, kind of focus on this clientele. I've always been active and continued that into my adulthood, and just watching them and seeing them age and the challenges that they have, faced. My mom was a big tennis player, well into her 70s. She even was involved in Senior Olympics. My dad attended his YMCA regularly, rode his bike, went to classes well into his 80s, still does. My mother-in-law's 95 years old in a couple weeks, still walks every day. My father-in-law walked. I just feel like because I didn't live near my parents or my in-laws, I was so grateful that somebody else was there to teach them, to guide them, to take an interest in them. And when I'm in my classes, I do look out at those people and I was like, that's my mom right there. I hope somebody is giving her that smile today that she needs and motivation to keep going. Or that person reminds me of my dad or my in-laws. And I don't know, it just felt like I was a good fit for that active environment. And then how is it different from traditional? Well, obviously your focus and your goals are going to be different when you're dealing with residents who have health challenges, maybe some limitations. You have to take all that into consideration. Really, you just want to do the overall well-being for the older adult. You really want to take everything, not just, I want to lift heavier, I want to lose weight, I want to, the traditional clients that we train, their goals are significantly different from those who just want to make their everyday activities easier. They want to be able to get in and out of the car. Right.
Sure.
Fall prevention. But, we deal with the whole person, not just the physical part of it. So their emotional is involved. And, just really making sure that we're meeting all of their needs and not just, okay, I want you to lift a little bit heavier. I want you to run faster in your marathon, that type of thing.
Sure.
So we just, different goals and trying to keep them mobile and living their best life every day.
I love that. You had mentioned this population and maybe having some limitations that other clients maybe don't have. Can you talk a little bit about how you overcome those limitations or modifications that you make?
No matter who you're training, you want to make sure that they're safe. And so, you want to program for them to make sure that you're, meeting their individual goals and, and being aware of any particular limitations that they may have. So, if it's high blood pressure or cancer or diabetes, you kind of need to know that type of information ahead of time when you're planning what you're going to do with them and, just make the necessary adjustments.
I love that. And I loved how you described seeing your parents in the classes that you teach.
I do. There's even people who resemble,
is that right?
And, I lost my mom almost 10 years ago and, I would make eye contact with, and I actually took a picture once with a lady at the Y who reminded me of my mom. And, you just think of them. And I've always told my children, when you're out and about and you see an older adult, I want you to think about your grandparents. So if you can hold that door, if you can help them get their groceries in their trunk or whatever. And I kind of try to live that way myself too, and just always think about those people because I'm not there to help them, but I'm here to help those here.
Right. Oh, I love that. And building off of what Margie said with making those personal connections and building those relationships. And thank you for raising good humans too.
Yeah.
I love that. So Mark, how do you approach residents who might feel nervous or unsure about beginning a fitness routine?
Sure. So So one thing to remember is that I'm not a drill sergeant. So I'm not going to tell you to do something that you can't do. I'm not going to put you through paces and make you work incredibly hard right off the bat. The first session really is it's a get to know you session. We do more talking than anything else. At least I do, and Carolyn does too, I think. It's more about finding out what your needs are as opposed to doing 100 push-ups or whatever the case may be. It's not a military type thing. It is definitely a relationship thing. We work and we get to know each other, and we build trust and rapport from there, and we find out what limitations are there and what the goals are, and we work through it that way. It's not. It's probably not what people expect the first time. If they're nervous about it, they don't need to be, because it's mostly sitting at a desk or sitting somewhere in the wellness center and talking for a half an hour, 45 minutes.
Easing them into their
Right.
journey, finding out what their goals are.
Right.
Yeah.
And most importantly, goals. We have to set goals, and one of the major issues is finding out what those goals are, because some people, they don't really have specific goals, and we kind of narrow that down and help them to do that, help them find their specific goal and work towards that goal.
Yeah, that's incredible. And you mentioned trust. That's such a huge thing when you're working one-on-one with a personal trainer.
Right. Trust is a big thing, and and it obviously goes both ways. Sometimes I push my clients, but I can trust that they'll tell me when they can't do something, because obviously I can't read minds, and I tell them that too. I can't read your mind, but I can read your face, and if you look like you're experiencing some kind of pain, then we'll probably pull back a little bit and try to figure out what to do instead of, like Carolyn said, making accommodations. But it's all watching and learning and getting to know the person and seeing what it is. What they can do and what they expect from you and what you expect from them.
Yeah, I love that personalized approach. Margy, I want to zoom out for a bit. How do you define wellness for older adults beyond just the physical component?
I find that one of the most important aspects is mindset. Okay. It's mindset and it's quality of life. And I think we have far too many residents who think they have to live with a less than situation, because sometimes doctors tell you, oh, you're just getting older, it's just the way it is, which is not true, as you're learning from Mark and Carolyn too, with the accommodations and the adaptations. And Mark and I both have corrective exercise specialties. There's a lot of ways you can overcome it. You don't have to live in pain, and you don't have to live in a way that doesn't allow you to do the things that you really want to do. There's a different way to do it. But a lot of that circles back around to mindset. So when I encounter a resident whose mindset is, it will never get better, it's only going to get worse, I'm only going to decline, that's what happens. When you have a resident whose mindset is, well, I think I can do it and I'm going to try, and they trust you and say, well, you're telling me what to do and I'm going to trust you to help me do that, and I don't want to give in or give up to this, or I'm not really wanting to accept the fact that I can't do X in my apartment on my own anymore. There's a huge difference in that. So one of the things I try and really build with the residents that I encounter is the difference with your mindset. You got to believe it's possible. I do a lot of that in the group fitness classes that I teach, a lot of positive affirmations and a lot of encouragement. I make eye contact with people and really say, that was great, you're doing great, because they are. And sometimes they don't hear that. Plus side of this is that we do have a lot of family members for residents who are encouraging to come in, to get involved with a personal trainer, to attend a group fitness class. But getting them, again, through that mindset and being having a vision for themselves of the quality of life that they want to have. And sometimes that's even just being social. If you have too much pain in your body, you're not even going to want to come down the hall to play cards or something. So when we get them past that that mental block for their mindset, I even did a Live and Learn lecture back in February based on a book called Breaking the Age Code, and that's by Becca Levy. And it's an excellent book about how research has proven that people with positive mindsets about aging actually age better, have less chronic disease, less pain, and live independently longer than people with the negative mindset that it's just all about your deterioration. So I really try and push that all the time. And there's never a point at which you can't turn the tide on that. But you have to have the mindset. You have to be willing to change your mind and look at that positively too.
So talk to me about those that you encounter that do have kind of that negative mindset in the beginning. How do you overcome that hurdle?
Well, that's a challenge because it's hard to get somebody to change their mind. If they don't want to change their mind, you can't do it for them, right? You can only present the information. About over a year ago, we did a workshop on walkers, how to properly use your walkers. And there were 2 residents that showed up that actually came to group fitness classes all the time and didn't use walkers. So I was really surprised, and I said, you don't even use a walker. Why are you here? And they both said to me that they expected to have to use a walker at some point in time.
Wow.
And guess what? One of them now is.
Oh.
But the other one isn't yet. But that was really interesting to me. And so I kept trying to initiate some conversations around that over time with, why do you think you're going to have to use a walker? We have so many examples of individuals in their 90s here who are not using walkers, who are very active, working out, et cetera. So it's really not the way. But again, that mindset, and some of them can start to turn it a little bit. I've actually seen a couple of residents start to turn that mindset around, and a lot of it is not just what you can say to them, but what you can demonstrate for them. So when I can tell them, this is what I see you being able to do, and you weren't doing that before, and look at this other person who does this, then you can see it gets a little seed in there, and they're like,
A little bit of positive peer pressure there.
Well, it's not about peer pressure as much as a peer example, right? But it has to be relatable back to them, because there are a few residents that are here in their 90s who are so fit and active, and I've heard other residents say, well, I'll never be like them, Well, you don't have to be like them. You can be you in your own way. But, when I explain to them, well, a couple of months ago, you had trouble doing 5 sit-to-stands, and today we did them for 30 seconds, and you didn't stop. And they don't always, and this is true across the board for any clients you work with, they don't always perceive their own successes.
Yeah.
That's where the trainers come in so handy as well, when we see the changes that they are not actually aware of. I've also had people share with me things such as, one woman said that she didn't used to be able to bend over and put her pants on. She had to lay on the bed to do it. And she said, now I did it standing up,
Balance.
So, balance, got better balance, got better leg strength. And so during the group fitness classes, I'm always trying to make that relatable. This is why we do this exercise, because it will help you to be stronger in this way, to reach this, to do that, to, whatever it might be.
Put your seatbelt on.
There's one we do in upper body class for upper mobility. We work on shoulder and thoracic mobility, and I call it the seatbelt. Seatbelt, jacket, and comb your hair. So they have to reach across their body and then use their shoulder to come around. So you buckle your seatbelt, you check your jacket, comb your hair, and then we keep going, and they keep crossing around. And they love that one because it's relatable.
Sure.
They understand it. They
Function.
get that.
Yeah.
Do they whip out a comb and actually use the comb? Because
No.
you might need to do that.
No, but I have, some of the men who don't have hair.
Yeah.
Shine.
Sun lotion.
Yeah, we're just
Sun
gonna
lotion.
we're
Yeah,
just
there you
gonna
go.
we're
Well,
gonna
and,
shine
and
it.
another thing to think about in that vein is progressions. So you would progress somebody from doing something that like, I don't think I can climb the stairs, right? So you start them off by doing things that lead up to climbing the stairs, and over time, a lot of it's encouragement from the trainer, and some people just don't they just don't believe that they can do those things. And they absolutely can. It just takes encouragement and trust and a little work over time, and suddenly, they're where they want to be and doing something that they had no idea that they could do whatsoever.
And for me, one of the challenges with the mindset, too, is we're working primarily with an age group that didn't have that when they were younger, especially women. Women in their 80s and 90s, when they were young women, exercise wasn't a thing for them. They didn't grow up where sweating was okay, So I had challenges, and I had to really push them to even just wear fitness clothing or loose clothing. They came dressed like they were going out to lunch and with slip-on shoes and stuff. I'm like, no, you cannot wear that to exercise. We're serious in here with exercise. I think that surprised them too, is that because there's a lot of other external entities, let's say that, who encourage them to sit, don't do too much, don't hurt yourself, don't trip, and they end up being less and less active. So they didn't expect the experience to be quite as much like exercise as it really was. But it's amazing to me the number of women primarily too, who went and got sneakers, went and bought sneakers, went and bought loose pants or fitness pants and wear them and are very proud of themselves because they exercise. So it's been a huge progression of encouraging them and telling them and showing them why it's important. So we've even done workshops and lectures on why the fitness clothing matters, what it does for you, how, if you don't, it inhibits your stability and balance or your range of motion and that sort of thing.
Well, you brought the shoe company here.
We brought a shoe company here. We did. We actually,
and you had a fashion show.
Yeah.
we had a fashion show with a shoe company here, and our residents modeled the fitness clothing.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I see them wearing that
They do.
regularly.
Yep, they do. And spoiler alert, we're going to do it again.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. We've had requests to do it again.
That's great.
Well, Jenny, I don't know if you've noticed the print in the fitness center that she has over the platform, and it says you choose, and it can be a smile or it can be a frown based on which direction you look at it. And I look at that every time, and I love that, and I think I want to get it for my house.
Yeah.
Let me know where you got it.
It's applicable
Everywhere.
in anything, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
you choose your attitude.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people, we can help them change their mindset. And I'm going to say that. We can help them change their mindset. But they have to decide that they want to be a part of that process also. Right. Sure. And some people, you will never be able to change their mind because it's so deeply entrenched in them. But we can only do what we can. And I'm finding that role models and the positive actual encouragement and feedback in real time is what makes the big difference.
That's awesome. I love that approach. Carolyn, can you share a success story about a resident that really has stuck with you?
Well, it depends how much time we have because so now I have a resident who's in his mid-80s who I've been training almost a year now. It's crazy to think that September is when we started. And we started out once a week for 30 minutes, and probably 2 to 3 weeks in, he said, "Can I come twice a week?" I said, "Sure." And I spoke with Margy about this individual because he had such wonderful habits to begin with. He was already in a routine. He worked out in the wellness center. You all know who I'm talking about. Many days a week. In fact, Margy had to tell him to take a day off because he was working out 7 days a week. So she said, "You need a rest day."
You need a rest day.
Yeah.
Recover.
And I'm like,
That's important.
what am I going to be able to do with this person because he does everything already? And we have the best relationship, and I really look forward to my time with him. And he does everything I ask. He even went out and bought a stick of his own because I gave him this flexibility move on day one, very first time we met. I'm like, "See if you can do this." And it was basically dropping a stick behind your back, catching it with the other hand, and going back and forth, back and forth. And I used a drumstick, but he went to Home Depot and bought like a curtain rod stick or something and does it at home faithfully. And every once in a while I'll say, "You still doing your stick drops?" He's like, "Oh yeah, every time." And it's so good for your flexibility and being able to reach and comb your hair, which he doesn't have any, but that's okay. But he has taken the initiative to continue doing that on his own, which is great. But I always ask him to do this one particular move because when I first introduced it to him, I wrote in my notes, "This is hard." And on his rate of perceived exertion, it was 8 or 9 every time. And so I always leave myself little notes. And if it's hard for him, then we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it. Not because he's able to do it. It was just a little hard. And so he's able to do it now, double the time. I looked back at my notes. 6 months ago, he was on one knee with the dumbbell over his head, working on his balance, doing a halo. And he could do 5. And I do it pretty regularly. He's more than doubled it, and his rate of perceived exertion has gone way down. Yeah,
That's
and so that's just an
great.
example. And he always laughs. I'm like, what's next, right? Because, I said, well, if you tell me something's hard, you're going to see it again.
Yes.
If once you master it, and, his balance is incredible. We started off with some balance because really his goals were, I just want to slow down the decline. Because really, what do you do with somebody who works on strength 6 days a week, does the treadmill, does the rower, does the bike, But I find things for him. And balance and core work were 2 of the things that he really wanted to focus on. And so we do. And, he does everything I ask, and he excels, and he keeps coming back for more.
I love it.
Yeah, he'll see Carolyn and I talking in the wellness center about equipment. And he'll shake his finger at me. Don't you give her ideas, he would say.
Oh, you got
But
something
deep
new?
down, he really
He
he's
does. He
itching
always
for
big
it.
smile on his
He's going to
face.
be the first one on that new piece of equipment.
Absolutely.
He
Yeah.
loves to be challenged.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
There was a quote that I ran across not too long ago that says, "Don't change your hill." So think of a hill and running up that hill, and oh my gosh, it's a struggle to get up. I'm going to go on a lower. No, you don't change your hill. You keep working at this
Yeah.
hill
Yeah.
until it becomes
Yeah.
easy, and then you find your next challenge.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love that. Mark, what's one small thing that anyone can do to feel better physically or mentally?
There's so many things. I think so. I really thought about this. I honestly think it's just waking up and thinking positively, trying to find. It's not about what you can't do; it's about what you can do, and finding your successes for the day. If you wake up first thing in the morning, think positively. It's really that simple, and it makes a huge difference if you flip the coin and see it from the head's direction instead of the tails. It makes a big difference in what you can achieve during the day, and it's fairly simple to do. Even it's not hard. It's and it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I really think it's that something that simple can make a big difference. That's what gets people into the gym sometimes is
Sure.
that positive thinking, because if they have that, what am I going to tackle today? What hurdle am I going to jump over? Then they end up doing those things. They end up in the gym rather than watching TV.
Sure. Taking a nap.
What I've said
Yes.
to clients in the past, and I say it to residents too, is if you don't try at all, where will you be in 6 months? But if you start now, where will you be in 6 months?
Right. And it all begins with that positive attitude.
Positive attitude and building on what remains, what they can do, not what they can't do.
Right. Exactly.
And when things
Exactly.
are intimidating, like in a group fitness class, work with a trainer, one-on-one. Then you don't have anybody watching you. You don't have to worry about it, and they help you find your starting point. I think that's the tough thing for most people is they don't know where to start, so it seems very overwhelming.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Margy, our location is great, being right here in the heart of Greenwood. So how does our location and our partnership with the city impact and support your wellness efforts?
I think that the ability to access the outdoor spaces, the walking paths, as well as pickleball. So let's just throw out pickleball there for a minute, which has become very popular. Last summer, the summer of 2024, I had going into the spring, I'd had maybe like 2 or 3 residents that had approached me and asked me about doing pickleball. And I knew we didn't have a court or anything, and I wasn't really sure about that. And then so I said, well, I can look into it. I'm not sure how we would handle it. So I started asking around about pickleball courts. And then a different resident came to me and said, there are some spaces here we could probably use for pickleball. So long story short, there were a few other residents, that told me, oh, nobody here is interested in that. You shouldn't do that.
Let's go to lunch instead.
Yeah, that's right.
You only hear from the squeaky wheels sometimes.
That's right. We had 15 people come and try pickleball last year. And I found a coach. She came in, gave lessons, showed them how to use it. So again, we went through the end of trying to set it up so it was safe and proactive first. So we found a really safe environment. We got a coach to teach them the basics, and we started from ground one. You did not need to know anything about pickleball. And once that was clear to people, then we saw a number of people wanting to participate and find out, curiosity more than anything. We had a couple of people in their 90s came out and tried pickleball for their first time last year. So fast forwarding to this year, they have progressed. They're not beginners anymore. So we are using some of the city courts, and we drive over there every other week with our coach, and they're actually playing games. And now, real games, keeping score, so the coach has gotten them to the point of understanding strategy and learning how to place your ball, making it drop where it's harder for the person on the other side of the net to get to it. And they're having a great time with it. We're having a really good group.
So I happened to be in the lobby a few weeks ago when you got back from playing pickleball. It was like a 90-degree day, and they were walking in, sweat dripping from their face, their clothes were wet, and smiling from ear to ear. I mean, you can tell that they had a great time.
They really do. There's a lot of camaraderie and support and help, and the coach is great with having them. And I'll give her a shout out. Our coach is Karen Hewitt. She does a fantastic job rotating them around, keeping them busy, giving them rests. I'm always there on the sidelines with bottles of water and Gatorade and trail mix, whatever we need.
She'll wipe their foreheads.
Yes,
if
That's
necessary.
right. That's right. I have a first aid kit. We haven't had to use that.
Nice.
Yeah. But they just have a great time, and they rotate through and play different games and find different partnerships, and they are loving it. And it's really helped them improve skills. In fact, this year in the spring, we even offered a sports prep and conditioning class that Mark taught for us to try and get them preseason ready.
Oh, nice.
Because when you're preseason ready and you're practicing those skills, you have a reduced risk for any injury, or including overuse injuries, when you just start something in the summer and play hard without doing the prep. So we had a number of the ones that are playing, do the sports prep with Mark. They loved it.
That's
had
fantastic.
A great time.
Yeah, that's great. And I love that connection to our community too,
Yeah.
using the pickleball courts within our
Everybody
community
knows where it
until
is. Yeah.
we get ours here at GVS,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
coming.
Yeah, there's great perks that we access and we enjoy them.
Yeah, fantastic. Carolyn, let's bust some myths.
Okay.
What's one misconception about aging and wellness that you wish more people understood?
I'm too old to be active. How many times have we heard that one? Yeah, you're never, ever too old to move. Everybody has their starting point, baby steps. Every little thing adds up. If you just want to walk to the mailbox and get your mail, and that's the farthest you can go that day, then, success. If you can walk 2 doors down and keep going, progress each day, add one more mailbox on. That is what you can do. You're never too old to start, and you're never too old to move. And just don't compare yourself to other people, because I tell you what, I think of my mother-in-law all the time. I went and saw her this past weekend. She's going to be 95 in a couple days. Still lives alone, still walks every single day. And during COVID, when she couldn't go to Curves, her son, not my husband, but my brother-in-law, bought her a barbell. And she was doing deadlifts downstairs in her laundry room.
At 90 years old?
At 90. During
I
COVID.
love
Yeah,
it.
and I have a video of it because I'm like, I want to be you when I grow up.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's so, we all know the research shows, and your quality of life depends on what you do, and just staying active. You need to stay active mentally. She had 3 or 4 puzzles going when I was there, all at the same time on her kitchen table. She still does crossword puzzles, all of those things that she chooses to do. And, she's just a wonderful example for what you can do later in life.
Yeah.
And so, no, you can't tell me you're too old, because I'll say, come meet Jean Naumovich over here. And she's doing deadlifts at 90.
What a great example.
Yeah, and, if you have a balanced diet and stay mentally active and keep up with your regular checkups, it'll pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Mark, let's wrap things up with this portion. What's one progress milestone that you always celebrate with residents, and why does it matter?
So there's no really one in particular, but there's always a point with every client where they have a eureka moment. Whatever that may be, it's something that they didn't think that they could ever do, and they come in and they realize that it's happened over between our last session and this session, or whatever the case may be, or during our session, and their eyes get bright and big, and they're like, I just did it. I just can't believe I did XYZ. And it's pretty amazing to see them and the sense of accomplishment that they feel from that. They achieved something and it hit them suddenly, like, oh wow. I've had clients tell me, I know this sounds strange, but I feel stronger. And I'm like, well, that's because you are stronger. Like, because it's right. It's working, and they get excited, and that's when they kind of catch the bug. That's when they get excited again, and they see what's happening, and that change is possible, and it's working.
Yeah, and what a gift to you to be included in that moment.
Right. Yeah,
And they want to, and
it's
so
funny.
rewarding.
It is, and they want to thank me for it, and I'm like, but it was you.
You did the work.
I didn't do it. You did it,
Yeah.
and that's and it's really encouraging to see, and it makes us feel good as well, and it's really rewarding.
That's great. Well, we always end on this final question, our signature question of the podcast. So, Margy, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
If you could be remembered for just one thing in your life, what would it be and why?
I feel there's two aspects to that: my personal life, and my professional life. In my personal life, a quote by Jackie Kennedy always stuck with me when I was younger, and it has come to matter to me more now as a parent. But she said that she felt that if you didn't raise your children well, nothing else you did mattered very much. And once I had kids, I realized how important that was. So I would like to be remembered for the awesome kids that I have, because they've grown up. They're just amazing.
Give them a shout out. Who are they? Let's hear it.
Tara and Shay, and a little grandson named Rowan.
Oh,
So
very
they are
good.
all very awesome. Yeah. But in my professional life, I actually would like to be remembered as not being perfect, because I think perfection is a trap. And I think if you are always striving for perfection, you kind of lose your lessons along the way. And I have always been a very process-oriented person. I'm more interested in the journey than I am the destination, because I like the sights along the way. And I remember when I was younger, in my 20s with college and stuff, they were always pushing for perfection. You had to do it, the end product was more important. And I've just discovered over the course of my own life, the end product is not the most important aspect of any journey. It's what you see along the way, what you learn along the way. So I stopped striving for perfection, because I wasn't a perfectionist in the first place. And I found not just that I was much happier, but that I actually was more productive when I paid more attention to process than I did to product.
I love that. Very good. Mark, what about you?
I don't know. I don't know that I want to be remembered
hard
for
one to
any.
follow.
It is
I
real.
was
Yeah,
like,
thanks, Margy.
I should have looked up a quote, because I don't have one.
I want to be remembered for helping people. Honestly, I know that sounds self-sacrificing or whatever the case may be, but I just want to I want to know that I made a difference by helping others, whether it's my kid or everybody that I train with or whoever. I just want to be known for helping, honestly.
And ladies, you work with Mark day to day. Can
He's
you
already
say that
on
he's
that
achieved
path.
that?
He is already
I'm
on that
sure.
path.
Yeah.
I get to see Mark almost every day. Yeah, and it's a pleasure. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, Carolyn, to you.
All righty. So we did have this question given to us ahead of time, and I kind of was not really coming up with anything. I remember seeing a bumper sticker once that said, "Don't make me lie at your funeral." And that has stuck with me.
Oh.
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah, I know. So I don't know. I like Mark, I I feel like I'm a compassionate person who really does strive to help others. But overall, I just want to be that nice lady. I'm the nice lady who smiled at each person she passed walking into the Y. You know, the nice lady who made cookies for the new neighbor. The nice lady who helped somebody in the grocery store who couldn't reach the top shelf. Like, there's such small little things, but those are things that I've done. And I said earlier about raising my kids that way. And, you know, speaking on the personal level, I'm so proud of all of my children and my husband. And, you know, I just hope that at the end of the day, that I am the best wife I can be, mother, grandmother, daughter, sister, all those things. And, it's important. Family is very, very important to me. I mean, it's pretty much everything. But the strangers who I don't know, who aren't my family, make eye contact and smile. And I do that. I know I do that a lot. And I might have even made fun of on vacation because I'm riding my bike passing 7,000 people on 30A, and I say good morning to each one of them. And, Mom, it's okay. But you do. You acknowledge
That's how
people.
you change the world, right?
Just,
those little pebbles
Yeah.
make ripples.
Yeah.
And you made somebody else's day, and they're going to pay it forward.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping for.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
yeah, thank you.
Well, wellness at GVS isn't just a program, it's a way of life, and you three are at the heart of it. Thank you all for sharing your time, your stories, and your passion with our listeners.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.